Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not a trumpet. I am Angus Dr. Random Mole. And in the middle, we have
Arisimir Politopoulos. And right next to me, no, that way,
that way.
that
Yes.
way.
Sibyl Lamas.
Our professor at play. This is going to be the very last Let's Play of or past at play exclamation mark course. So it's gonna be a special one in a way, right? But
Yes.
we had a lot of fun over the last couple of weeks, not only on Twitch but also on within the confines of Microsoft Teams. We just came from a magnificently cool Q&A with Reuven de Schilde, one of the developers of Herald. So yeah, we've been having a lot of fun. So anyway, thank you for tuning in again. So what are we going to be playing today, Aris?
Today we are going to be exploring some of our builds or some of our projects in Minecraft. So if you don't know what Minecraft is, I don't know what have you been doing the last 10 years. Like, come on.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, that said, I mean, it's always okay not to know something, right?
Yes. So Minecraft is basically this survival, this very bare bones minimal survival game where you get to build whatever you want by using one by one blocks, and then you can use all sorts of different materials.
Yeah, Minecraft is basically really two games, right? It is one is this survival game.
Yeah.
And the other is basically
and the other is Lego.
This Lego. It's this endless box of Legos, but then you are as big as all the Lego blocks. So it is something for sure. Have you played much Minecraft yourself, Sibyl?
Not much, but I have played it, and it's of course also a big playground, right? It's a fine example of a big playground which is not outside your house, basically, but still brings you to different places. So I'm sure during COVID-19, many people took sort of shelter in places like this.
Absolutely, we did as well with Minecraft World Heritage, which unfortunately we can't visit because it's lost on some computer, hopefully somewhere. But yeah, you were talking about the playground next door, Sibyl. But this kind of may be for certain people the playground next door where we are right now.
It's yours as well, right, Angus and Aris? It's your pet playground as well, isn't it? Your pet play at history playground, to be more precise.
It's definitely one of our pet playgrounds. Not in recent days because we've been playing other crafting games.
Yeah, we've been playing Valheim, the survival crafting game in which you're a Viking. We're also at large sort of creating all sorts of non-Viking heritage in that. But yeah, it's a good point, Sibyl, that this is a little bit our playground. But in a way, I'm really fascinated by Minecraft more as a researcher than as a player. I like Minecraft. It's very zen, but I particularly like... Well, there's two things that I like about Minecraft. One of it is watching other people play and sort of all the crazy ideas they come up with, and especially sort of the wonderful way that they use the limitations of this game, which it still has as this sandbox. There's still limitations in there, sort of blocks that you can use, etc., to make beautiful stuff. And secondly, also to prepare playgrounds. I like the making of playgrounds. And this is one of the playgrounds I prepared, which is next door for many people. And,
actually, we in Teams we can't see your screen. We just see the Minecraft. It's sort of stuck in the Minecraft.
Oh, that is a pity. Let me try one more time because I don't know.
I see something moving or not. Yeah.
All right, let me try one more time if I can get sharing is paused until you return to the shared window. Yeah, now it is paused, but is it now getting back there?
Yeah, better.
Yeah. And is it now fixed?
The game menu, yeah.
No, but
we see the game menu. But if you press back into the game now, we don't see it. No.
All right, I'll try something else on your side because otherwise you have to watch via the stream. There's always a bit of delay.
Yeah.
So let me quickly try something else here then. All right, let me just quickly stop sharing and let me now share just my screen. There we go. And in theory, you should be able to see a bit more now.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, so
still very
main screen.
So
And I like theory, but not this. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
There
It's
you
always,
go.
this is always a work. This is also like a playground. It's just a very
What you
frustrating
were saying as a researcher, in what, because you are a researcher, or we are all researchers in many different ways, what kind of type of researcher in you is interested in Minecraft?
So the kind of researcher that is interested in Minecraft, and particularly in ways that people build stuff with the past, and I talk a lot about this in the lecture that will go up after this Let's Play. I'm really interested in how people craft the past, and so sort of it's a combination of epistemology of the past, so like how people come to understand stuff about the past,
And knowledge, yeah,
exactly, and also about the creativity that is inherent in thinking about the past, so the storytelling, something that I know Aris is also very interested in, and then also the communal aspect of it, because a lot of these things are very much. And let me just put the sound a little bit lower on my end. Let's see. Are very much communally driven as well. Not all builds are, but a lot of these Minecraft builds are made by communities. And also, if it's not community driven, then it's still very interesting to how one person expresses their ideas about heritage, and how at a collective level of all these different things that are going on there, we see how people engage with the past. And I mean, that's just my particular interest. But otherwise, like you, I find it fascinating that the endless amount of activities that people can do in a sandbox like this.
But it's also the doing, thinking through doing, right? It's almost thinking on your feet in that way.
It is very much thinking on your feet. So one of the things that happens when we make historical builds, and I wonder if the chat can sort of see what this historical build is. I'm sure you should be able to get some idea of it, to recognize it a little bit.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I really like with historical builds is particularly this thinking on your feet, because you have this information there of the factual, the way that this building really looks like. But then also you have to work with the confines of Minecraft, and also it never works out the way that you think it will. And so that's really a lot of fun as well. So anybody already recognizing what we're building right now? So far, I don't see anything popping up in the chat.
No.
Well, what we had not building, but what we have built.
Don't go close to the thing though. Don't go close to the sign.
The sign. Yeah,
there is a sign somewhere.
Then absolutely.
Then you give it up.
Then people will. There we go.
Pasco says, "I don't know Lighting was enough, but I think I recognize it."
Yeah.
I wish I was there.
Yeah. I mean, we're very very lucky that now and again we get to be there still, but not very often. I know that many students are probably missing this quite a bit. So this is the academy building, but this is the academy building. I think as it was in the 19th century. So this is a build that we built as part of Leiden 444. The 444th year of the university, and particularly the humanities events around it. So we had a morning at the in Lipsius 126 Saturday morning, right? That's where we just build the academy building together with some builders from mostly kids from colleagues, I was amazed how much done it was. You can see it's looking rather dusty right now in the inside.
Yeah, we haven't been in there for a while.
No, exactly.
It's like it happened in real life. It echoes that, right? We couldn't be
in
the university for the last almost a year, actually.
Yeah,
this is the main hall.
This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like now for real people. No, but one of the things that we always struggle with a bit is the interiors of buildings, because we never really. It's very much about the exterior. It's probably saying something as well when it comes to Minecraft. But here, there's a video of you on the Brightspace, or in fact on YouTube as well, where you're right here, Sibyl, talking to people about play.
Yeah, indeed, I recognize it. I do.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the fun thing. It's clearly not anything like.
But it's still recognizable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's all right. But I just wanted to briefly show this.
So where are the drinks?
Exactly. Where are the drinks? Where are the colleagues?
And where's the toilet?
Students graduating. Whoops. The students graduating. So it's now kind of empty, and that's. I still like showing these builds, right, Aris? We still like walking around them, but it's still best if you sort of are there while stuff is being built.
Yeah, because that's like big part of the experience, because the finished product is also really nice. Like you can really tell that this is the academy building, but then at the end, when it's completed, it becomes a little bit static, right? But while we're building it, it's not static, and that's one of the key differences, that you get to experience a dynamic process of like building and thinking about the build, and like trial and error, and this looks better, and no, this looks better, and having to take down like big parts of your build to make sure. So this is the last product, but it doesn't necessarily show the history of the build.
No, exactly. And that is really, so one of the things that is, so there's another angle to this that I also find fascinating, because before I prepare these maps, so in this case, it's in fact the whole map of the center of Leiden is in there from the 19th century.
If you move, you can see the place of Peterskirk over there that we haven't.
How did you prepare that map, Angus?
It's a bit of a technical story, but basically it comes down to I load a current day height map, digital elevation map, into GIS, a geographic information system, and I overlay old city plans or sometimes floor plans of buildings on top of that. And in a special a program called World Builder, I sort of then make it come to life. So as you can hear, exactly, the Pieterskerk over there is the Burgt. So the way that works is that program will recognize certain heights, and then by the gray tones in that image that you're going to use to import it in. So that way, all the buildings in Leiden are the same color, and therefore they can also be the same height. And then you can also do the outline, etc. It's a bit of a technical thing, but one of the nice things about if you do that, you have to do a bit of researching into architectural history, and that's also a lot of fun, because now I there's lots of stuff that I now know about the academy building. Simply for preparing for a play session for a morning that I didn't know before. So the original academy building is about only this part of, well, not the academy building, but what it was before, is only this part of the building. It's a very small section even of the Groot Auditorium. Because it used to be a chapel that was part of an abbey that was there. And it was only this part was only the chapel. And then, of course, after the lights on set, and they were looking for a building to house it in, they stayed in the chapel for a little while and then enlarged it to this, right? And only this. And only later did they build this whole section of the academy building next to it, where you now have the receptions and everything like that. That's from much, much later. And if you look at the building itself, you can actually still see that there's a sort of a difference going on right now, not in Minecraft, but in the building itself between those two bricks over there.
Did you start with the oldest bit as well when you started building it?
We did start with the oldest bit, yeah, absolutely. And then the tale grew in the telling, in the sense that we thought, we have some more time, so let's add that bit to it as well. And one of the things that I found out as well that I never knew before I did this is that on the top of the roof of the academy building, there used to be an observatory.
Yeah.
So you could climb up into the tower of the academy building, and over here, I mean, it's sort of roughly indicated the location of it here. There would be an actual telescope. It was there until the 19th century, a couple of iterations of it on top of this roof. And the thing that we now call the old observatory, which is over there, right? That's only the old observatory since the 19th century, basically. It was the new observatory in the 19th century. And since then, we don't have a telescope anymore on the roof of the academy building. But how cool must it be to be like on top of the academy building looking at the stars at night?
Yeah, for real.
So through your playful research into building this, you found out all kinds of facts even about history, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Put them together as well into one spatial story, you could almost say.
Yeah, one other fact that I found out that I didn't know is, of course, many people know the Kruidramp that happened in Leiden, right? The place where it's now the Van der Werf Park over there.
I don't know anything about Kruidramp.
Okay, so basically, I don't know. You have to wiki crutch me on the date, but at certain point in the 19th century, there was basically a ship exploded at the place where now the Van der Werf Park is. And the Kamerling Onnesgebouw, and it was a huge chunk of Leiden was literally taken out.
1807.
1807. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And
Leiden gunpowder disaster, it says on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you had one too. Yes, a lot of Dutch cities had one of those kruidrampen, absolutely. And the place where now the Kamerlingh-Ondagsgebouw is, the law faculty.
Yeah.
That is also the place where they were actually planning, together with the Van der Werf Park, the new academy building. That there's all sorts of designs for that.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of designs for that, and it was talked about in the Tweede Kamer in the Netherlands, but in the end it never materialized. So there was never a new academy building, and we're still in the old one. So
which is kind of nice, actually.
Now it's kind of nice.
It's a beauty, I think.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. So yes, as you say, lots of historical facts you can find, and that's I do that just because I find it fun. But we sort of know from surveys and just talking to people that this is something that people will do a lot, right, Aris? In our recent value survey, talking about historical games, people will find information.
Yeah, so one of the things that in one of the surveys, it really was highlighted that people are very often looking stuff outside of whatever they are playing. So if you're playing like Civilization, or if you're playing Assassin's Creed, and you encounter a name or you encounter something that you're like maybe a little bit familiar with, or that you're not familiar with at all, you will look it up. You are more inclined to look it up. And we don't only know that from surveys, but we also know that from checking out Google Trends and how Google searches tend to spike in relation, for example, to releases of specific games. Very recent example of this is Hades, and the Google searches for Zagreus, for example, and how much it spiked when Hades was released.
And it's so nice that you sort of instill them in what you build.
Yeah.
Those facts. So they're not just floating around, but they become part of the architecture.
Yeah, so that's a big difference between other games. And so people are inclined to look it up. People are inclined to search for this information. But then in Minecraft and in the type of events that we're doing, it sort of goes one level beyond that, where you're not only interested in looking up the interesting fact about something, but also think about how this fact is embedded in the material world, how it like makes you think actively about something. So instead of thinking about it as a fact, as a piece of information, which even in history you can argue that it's very difficult to actually talk about like absolutely certain facts, but then it makes you think about them and how they would have existed, like how certain architectural pieces or spaces would have existed, and how people would have moved in there, and maybe see how you can them. Or so it has this creative and engaged part in it.
Yeah, and a historical experience in that way, more than it's more experiential in that way as well.
Yeah. But as Diminius is saying, me and my friends always used to look up all the great people who came up during playing Civilization. There's still an experience to that. And I think that's the bottom line when it comes to video games, but just in general, play in the past. It always becomes, it's just that in the case of Minecraft, those experiences are quite literally like built into the game that we can now later see back, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, those experiences are had during play. And at the same time, if people sort of look up facts and learn, it will still be part of that experience. It will be very much experiential.
Yeah.
So when it comes to doing research and then bringing that into a game, I think this is really to me, this is one of the best projects that we've ever been part of. And this is the project of Mine Ronda. And Mine Ronda is a smaller project in a large umbrella of projects, heritage projects in Wales that are about unloved heritage, which I think, by the way, is an absolutely great idea, the idea of unloved heritage. And in particularly what these projects deal with, or a couple of the things that these projects deal with, is the heritage of, the industrial period in Wales, particularly the coal mining period in Wales, the mining period in Wales, which, if you know a bit of history, a lot of these were closed, of course, in the 80s under Thatcher.
Yeah.
And sort of the landscapes that they were part of were almost sanitized again from that very, for the landscape, very destructive and sort of polluting, quote unquote, activity. Well, not even quote unquote polluting activity. But that means that a lot of that is now actually out of the landscape, and a lot of the younger generation have never really seen it and experienced that big part of their villages. And so this whole project was about this. And so what these kids did, we prepared the map for them, and together with local with archaeologists from Britain and with local people, the Valley Kids, this is the name of the kids club that did this, went into their valley, the Blair and Honda Valley, and looked up all the sort of, and also into the historical archives, and found all sorts of historical information and artifacts from there. And they used that to build this Minecraft map of their old village, basically, or their old valley, the way that it used to look. So this is, let's see, what is the name of the street again? This is it's a whole heritage trail. I'll get in there soon. I forgot what this street was called now, but basically this is the street where a lot of the miners used to live. In
all these terraced houses.
Yeah, exactly. In these houses like this, I'll just build for them. And what I'm just going to do is, if I remember how, I'm going to
just get in.
You don't just get in, right? Oh yes, there we go. Shift that. Quite loud. But...
Yeah. I used to have one in front of my house. I live in an old harbour.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow. I need to get out real quick.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple minecarts over there. But I'm on what they did as well. They didn't just build everything, but they
annotated everything as well.
With a heritage trail, which I think is just absolutely wonderful. So this is the house that we were excavating on. So this is the house in, I wish I remember the street name, it doesn't really matter. But number 27 is that they've actually been in there and they've excavated that house.
Oh, interesting.
And then they built it again in Minecraft.
Yeah.
But to link it to the article we had to read of Wilmot and Fraser, who talk about visual interventions by making photographs of the edgelands, where the traces of the past are still there in Manchester, for example. This is also a kind of methodology and a playful methodology for that, which is a visual intervention into traces of which are still there, wastes which are still there, and building them into something else through play.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about wastes, this valley used to be quite literally filled with coal. And coal waste.
Yeah.
the disposal of more or less this mining process.
Yeah, what is that called again? That has a name as well.
Yeah, it has a name. I also forgot. I'm not a big coal mining historian, but
no, not big on coal in general.
No, exactly. But and that is now all gone off from the valley. So there was so when I prepare these maps in the way that I normally do, I use the elevation model from today and all sorts of things like that. But of course, I didn't really know where those coal heaps were, and they had to. So what one thing is, I think this is all put in there by hand. So this was all just green grass. So they were with these coal blocks that are part of Minecraft. They basically just put back the waste into the landscape as a. I think it's just a wonderful creative process, but it's a reverse creative process. So let me quickly get into this minecart. Whoops, there we go. It's already leaving without me.
That's one of the. It's always very difficult to get on these things. Chicken.
Chicken. No. Okay.
Close call.
Let me just quickly, because I think it's very, very, very loud. Let me just quickly move the sound a bit lower. There we go. Ambient environment. I honestly don't even know what this is. Let's see. Maybe it's this.
Did you talk to the kids afterwards? What their experience was?
I didn't talk to them afterwards yet. We will, because we're in fact doing a paper together with you as well, by the way, Samuel, if you want to join.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
And we talked to them beforehand, so we explained how we made this whole map, and then sort of some of the technical bits about it. But they got to do a Skype interview with us, and I used to have family living very close by to this, well, relatively close by, in Bath, a family-in-law. So I also got the opportunity to visit this valley before I started making it, which was useful as well, because nowadays it's a... Whoops, no. Oh, I have to go back.
Oh no!
There's too many minecarts on the track, so I'm just gonna fly over.
This is happening because we've been running this. We've tried this a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we sometimes just abandon them in the middle of the track.
There we go. The factory, the mill, as the Brits called it.
This is, in fact, the stables.
The stables,
the stables. Oh, it was still with horsepower as well.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And here we have all the horses named. Very nice.
Yeah.
So
horses are named.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pure, like a very handcrafted
That's probably not
thing.
Historically, well, maybe they had a name. Who knows?
Tailings, J.A. Thank you, tailings. All right, you're gonna get the trumpets for that. Tailings is the word for coal waste.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, I was looking it up briefly. I couldn't find it. Yeah.
All right.
You have to go right here. I think you're not following the trail now, right?
No, exactly. I have to go left here. You mean?
No, not to the right. You have to go to the right.
Look, there's my minecart. Oh. It's there. It's there again.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, get over here! Get over here, you minecart.
Yeah, but you missed a good chunk of the.
Like
thing.
my dog.
No. This is yes. Here, hold.
There. Yeah.
All right, there we go. Come on, you. No, I meant to go here first, Aris, because one of the other very cool things that they've done is so what do you think is the hardest part? What do you say would be the hardest part, Aris, for our builds?
Besides not getting nauseous building these things?
Yeah, besides not getting nauseous, yes, absolutely. Because Minecraft can be vomit-inducing for many people.
Yeah. Yeah, there are several things that are very difficult. A lot of the times you're building things on scale, right? And Minecraft is not as detailed to build necessarily smaller things in scale. So it's very difficult to build roofs, for example, to scale. But it's part of the experience, part of like trying to think about building things on a one-to-one scale. But in this particular occasion, we have something that's significantly larger than scale.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is so what the kids did, because they wanted to show what the inside of a house were like as well, which is very hard to do in Minecraft because you're working with 1 by 1 meter blocks. So they built a macro model of things. So a bigger than life version of a house like that. Yeah. So sort of what it would look like.
With the library there and
not a library. I think this is supposed to be a kitchen. I think.
How old were these kids?
No. On your left, it's books.
Yes, these kids were 12.
And I think straight ahead is the kitchen here.
Yes, you're right. This is the kitchen. They're around 12, 13. That's sort of their age, and they would do this on their weekends as a weekend activity.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I think this is such a. I mean, it does remind me a lot of. I mean, you often talk about space, Sibyl, and this is as if you. I mean, like you often talk about that because, but you have talked and thought a lot about it, and what a macro model of reality? What does that? What sort of what? How do you even refer to that in a sort of playful way? So, enlarging things rather than shrinking them down.
Yeah, not shrinking, but enlarging things. Yeah, and yeah.
It's a fascinating thing, right? To do. It's really so, it's nice as well because it's sort of you really feel like you're a small kid, almost like a baby walking through this therefore big house, but at the same time
not being able, to reach the top of the chair or whatever.
Exactly. So I think it's a fascinating little part of this here as well.
Oh, you remember that when you couldn't open the door yet because the handle was too high.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that we do in our events, and I think that I still want to do that at some point with this, is we have a virtual reality experience so that people get to walk through the thing that they built. And then it's live scale, right? So you can really see, like, for example, if you build a Roman building, like how high the highest Roman building in the Netherlands would have been, etc.
Yeah.
But I want to do that with this as well because it will give you a really weird feeling, I think, walking through this. But yeah, I mean, it just shows you how it shows you how, once again, space and history are very much intertwined and showing things, and it's just very fascinating.
Well, that the spatial experience is quite important to understand the temporal part of history, basically, right? That's what we've been talking a lot about in this course, how space and time are actually mutually dependent.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, let's see if I can get this thing going again. There we go. All right.
And we're off.
Yeah. Oh wait. No, I'm actually in the wrong. There's a cow on the tracks, but I think I'm in the wrong.
You're supposed to.
I'm supposed to go here, I think.
You have sheep as well, as it is in Wales.
I'm sure there's. Yeah, there you go. There's sheep. There's sheep right there.
Sheep.
Or is there sheep? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's a chicken. A chicken who has been blocking the the trail.
It's funny how they have character as well, although they're so blocky.
Yeah, they do have very much character. Yeah.
This one.
Very recognizable.
Yeah.
It's the aesthetic of Minecraft is an amazing. It's an amazing thing, right? How it's very limited, but still such a recognizable thing. It's at the same time still such a thing for boundless creativity.
And it has existed for such a long time already, right?
Yeah.
And it's still going strong. Yeah.
Very much so. It has 100 million users or more than that worldwide. So, and especially during these times, of course, it has only gained more.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're coming up to.
These are the mills.
Yeah, exactly. The coloring, as it's sort of known. And there we go. It really is a pleasure to sit in one of these carts, and I don't get nauseous, so I don't really suffer from it. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
But
what is this according to Kaiwa again?
This is.
This
is I guess would be Paideia, I guess, right? Because it is just childlike play, but at the same time it isn't. Right?
No, but it's also 30. Was it E-Links? Sorry, I'm saying this by heart now.
E-Links, yeah, it was E-Links, yeah.
Oh, E-Links, yes.
The sort of physical sensation you get. As it being on a roller coaster, yeah.
So interesting how Carlo has used all these Greek terms. So
misspells them as well, mind you.
Yeah. I'm always triggered by it.
Yeah.
So here, I guess
we're
gonna go down into the depths.
Oh my god! Now I get vertigo, indeed.
Yeah, you do get
vertigo. A bit. I'm not very prone to it.
Yeah, we had a couple of times when, because this type of stuff we do in VR, as we said, and it is often an activity to just drop people from really high up and see how they react to the sensation of falling in VR.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that we never had somebody actually fall down, but we had people who lost their balance for a bit when falling down.
Yeah, you think about it. You say we experience vertigo, but think about if you're a miner that's being lowered into these
holes.
Into these holes.
Oh God, yeah.
Every single day, or sometimes not every single day because you're actually sleeping in the mine So that's the moment where we often say when people experience some sort of awe when they're entering a building or vertigo or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the moments when we talk about experience and historical experience and the connecting thing. Just suppose that you were actually here as a miner or whatever, or you could also probably say if you were a bit claustrophobic and you're going to be entering this relatively small mine, right? It's so yeah. Anyway, let me. I think I have
cannery as well. No.
Oh well, you won't be disappointed. Oh, let me see if I can. This thing is not on the tracks, I think.
No, it's going a bit.
All right, we've gone off track.
Has its own will.
Come on, go on track, please. Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't think it will. No, it's not doing anything. All right,
you can bring a new one, right?
Yeah, let me just bring a new one. There we go.
I think if you pull the lever.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm missing my cursor somehow for some reason in Minecraft at the moment. There we go. Yeah, there, Minecraft. We are. Oops, there we go. We're playing in an offline version of this, so they're still building this, but I didn't want to interfere with anything there. So
this is a bit scary as well. Which it is as it should be.
Is it? Yes, I would be absolutely scared.
Yeah. It's even maybe a bit more spacious than I would have thought. I don't know if they build this to scale.
Or maybe even a bit more narrow, right?
Yeah.
So here we have
here.
Frankie. So here we have horses that would spend a good deal of their life in the mines. Frankie and Bobby we have over here.
They were small horses, right? As I remember.
Yeah, absolutely. And here you go, Sibyl.
The canary.
The canaries. Yeah. The canaries in the coal mine.
Well, they have oxygen, it seems.
They are alive. They are definitely alive still. So, I mean, they're not really happy. They're sort of in a corner like, oh, well, but they're there. And I guess they're not canaries, but they're cockatoos. But I mean,
they are, but who cares? You know?
Yes, exactly. So let me. I lost my mind card again.
About not the small details as facts mattering that much.
No, exactly, because of this, of course, in case it is unknown, but this, of course, references the fact that coal miners would be taking small songbirds or small birds with them, because if those would die, then they knew there would be something up with the air, gas to be very particular.
And it was a way to simulate also the outside environment, of course. Like it's not only the.
Good point, Aris. Good point. The whistling of a bird. I wonder how much they would actually whistle. But,
I don't know.
About that, Aris. And that's again showing how this kind of research can bring you new insights as well into why there were animals in there. Yes, they had a practical function. They were almost like tools, but at the same time, they were also companions, basically.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the choices of the names for the horses, like these very familiar names, that is also like I think plays into the experience of having something familiar with you, and animals do that very well, making sure that you have someone there.
And you can talk to them, but they never talk back. Yeah.
So it's still the kind of company that within like solitude is actually can keep you sane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We were talking about dogs, right? And lockdown. So
for example, a lot of people have gotten animals nowadays simply because they feel like alone and they want a cat or a dog in the house to make sure that there is a bit of life.
Yeah, as my colleague Larissa Yort always talks about, the more than humans, the animal companions.
Yeah,
absolutely. And they are important part of playgrounds as well, right? So, because, I mean, and that's, I think, maybe the difference between playgrounds outside, where most of the time dogs or other animals aren't really allowed because it's supposed to be for humans. What you will see often in games is that we really want to bring our digital more than humans, other than humans, sort of with us into a game. Mm-hmm. So there's this whole Twitter account, right? Can you pet the dog? About whether in a particular game where there's dogs, we actually pet them, and that will sort of make or break that game. Often, or at least
children farms, of course, have that. Right?
Children farm, yeah, exactly. They have it, but then it's a very particular playground.
It is or some playgrounds imitate animals, right? The equipment looks like animals.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Yeah, exactly. You're in an elephant sliding down, or you're in a wipkip. I honestly don't even know what to translate that as. What would you call that? A ... chicken. I don't even want to go.
I don't know. I'm sure there are different versions in each country.
I'm sure there are.
I'm sure some have horses, some have chickens, some have donkeys. I don't know.
So but I think it's also like the fact that for very young kids you get pluses, and that's historically existed, right? That as we were talking in the video for the archaeology, that children in Roman periods would play with tiny horses, right?
Yeah,
because there is it is a natural. Mode to be friendly with the animals, to exist with, coexist with nature, and it becomes very easily very playful.
Yeah.
So
that's of course kitchen utensils are playfully used as well, and we all remember that from when we were small, probably as well, that we did that, using them playfully.
Yeah.
My mom not allowing me to do that, but So there's always this sort of using things which may not be meant to be playful in a playful way, but animals especially have that playfulness and share that with humans as well, right?
Yeah. In that sense, it's just the amount of animals that we always have in our Minecraft builds, because people just want them around them. It's very indicative. That's one of the funnest things for people to do, is to spawn animals in, right?
Yeah, not having them killed, right?
And also not having then for another player it will become the activity to kill those animals.
Yeah.
But so it's really a very human thing. It's very much about humans still, but it is yeah. Anyway, it's a very human animals relations is probably in games is it's a whole course in itself, I think.
Very interesting. But also in Minecraft, talking about exploration, it's about animal exploration, of course.
Yeah, and simulation, right?
Yeah.
So
it is about simulation.
Because these animals will do certain things that will, or at least definitely in the real Minecraft, the survival Minecraft, they will do things that are like that animal, right? Or they will give the resources that animal gives. Like, for example, a chicken will give eggs that you can then use for your subsistence. You can shear sheep, etc. There's all sorts of simulation aspects to the play going on as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, we did have a paper in the first Interactive Pass conference about animals, right? And how our relation with animals in games, specifically with chickens.
Chickens, yeah, exactly. Chicken-animal relations, and
I'm just gonna plunk it in the chat.
Yeah. So
Great.
I just wanted to end here maybe with this playground within the playground.
Yeah.
Which I think is, I honestly haven't talked. I want to talk to the Valley kids about this, because I wonder if this is an actual football field that was there back then.
Is it a football field? I'm very bad at things like
that.
It is.
Yeah, it is a football field. And or if this is something
Wales, I thought rugby immediately, you know.
Maybe they've also played rugby on this. I'm sure there wasn't just one purpose fits all. But I think it's very fascinating, because of course these people, I mean, miners, would also be playing, right? They would not just be miners. They would also be, especially on the Sundays, they would be. So I'm quite hopeful.
If they were allowed by that church, yeah.
If they were allowed by that church, but so it could very well be that in the past, that wasn't appearing on any of my maps from that period, there was an actual football field here. So I kind of want to know if this is something that they found out through historical research, or whether they found it simply so important that it should be here. Anyway.
They also played a lot of music, especially in Wales, the miners, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's I mean, that's just in general in mining places. There, it's interesting. By the way, this could be a whole project. I think how play is very central in many ways to mining places, right? And how that sort of loops back into the idea of Minecraft. So I think it's all one big Ouroboros eating its own tail sometimes when it comes to play in the past and the things that we do in our playgrounds.
And those pictures we showed of people on battlefields playing cards.
Exactly. Or Klondike, the game Klondike Solitaire, being not invented, but coming to its hype in the actual Klondike when people were mining for gold there or panning for gold there. So it's just an absolutely fascinating thing for me to see this sort of stuff. And the last thing I heard about this whole project is that the heritage trail that they put in Minecraft is now also being put into the real valley in the roughly same spots as the heritage trail is in this map. So it's there too. It's a thing that eats its own tail. It's from the archaeology, the real world archaeology, and the Valley kids doing this, to putting this in Minecraft, to then taking this out of Minecraft again and putting it back into the landscape. So it's a very
so
fun
when we
project.
Want to do a bit of visual anthropology, we should go there for that article we're writing.
Oh yeah, actually we should.
Make some photographs and films as well.
Yeah, and we've for a long time we've been planning to sort of have a meeting with them still. So hopefully that's something.
COVID permitting, yeah.
COVID permitting, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, with that said, I think maybe this is a good natural end to our explorations of the past together, at least for the Let's Play versions of this.
There will be the lectures of this week uploaded on YouTube today. And that also will conclude the the pre-recorded lectures of the course.
Yeah.
So as of tonight, you will be able to follow the entire course in one go if you so desire.
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't recommend it because there's a lot, right?
There is a lot.
We will do.
Set ourselves the limit of 20 minutes, but we never keep to it, I think.
No,
at least
exactly.
I mean, we don't go beyond 30 minutes at the same time, so that's something.
I do once, yeah.
But I mean, we're going to do a recap next week, but that's within the confines of Teams. So so this is our last public part of the course.
Thanks for the tour. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's been, as always, it's been my pleasure. And well, more for us next week, and I'm sure next year, hopefully next year, we will be back with more Past at Play courses. Yes. All right. Thanks so much, and of course, stay happy and healthy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.